Mr. Vivek Khemani on the stage.
So, how do we know that ideas are good? Okay, so I'm going to present one slide. So here the first slide basically is about you have gone to a customer. So all startup ideas start with a need. Some customer has a need. So an entrepreneur basically is the one who spots this need earlier than others, or is able to listen to this need more carefully than others. Okay, is able to understand this need better than others. This is basically the origin, the starting point of a startup idea, right? There is some customer has a need, and in fact, I have seen many startup ideas which start with this story that somebody is saying about his own experience, his or her own experience. What happened when they did something like, for example, their son had a problem. I know a person who told me that his son had a problem, they couldn't speak. When something happened, he could not speak, and so the thing that you need to do to get this person to speak again requires you to import something which is very, very expensive. They said, why would it be that you have to put some simple plastic tube in there? And you pay lakhs of rupees to import it, and then you have to. So he started waiting. Okay, the problem came because his son was not able. And most of the passionate stories you hear, right, is about individual experiences of people, their own experiences. They experience something and they say, hey, this problem needs to get solved. And if something has happened in their family, like somebody died. For example, during the COVID, we saw a lot of innovation. People started making oxygen concentrators and ventilators and so on because they saw death around them. When said people can't be dying from this. And that creates passion, right? And passion is the root of startup ideas. I think Professor Suresh will agree that without passion, you don't have any startup. Okay, startup needs passion, and to be passionate about the idea, you must experience that need yourself. Okay, of course, if you go and listen to somebody else, they tell the story and you feel empathetic, then you will also experience the same need and you will try to solve that issue in a much more vigorous way. So it all starts with the customer need. And when you listen to a customer and they tell you the need, then you're thinking, if one person is saying this, they have this need, maybe many other people also have this need. Right? You must have seen this video of Mohammed Mustafa, who started IT company which makes batter. And he said basically, he's saying that it's clear that at that time people would either make the batter at home, which is a very time-consuming process, and then you can't keep it for too long, it will go sour and all. Or they will buy a batter from somebody who is not hygienic. Right? It's like buying, packaged meat, for example, today is now becoming hygienic, but otherwise you're buying it from a non-hygienic. So how do you get batter that was made now, recently, in a hygienic manner? And that is the problem he solved for a customer in some sense. And he experienced that need. Okay? So if one person has the need, then you're thinking that many people have the need. So if I can find these many people, then somehow I can serve all these things together. So it all starts with the customer's need. Okay? So now, key problem is, customer might say that, okay, you are giving me a solution which serves my need, okay, but it requires me to do many things differently, right? It requires me to do many things differently. So there is a cost incurred in my, accepting your solution. Cost may not be expressed in rupees. For example, I'll tell you that, you have solar. For example, you can set up solar, whatever it is, on top of houses, right? But if you set up these solar things on top of houses, the chances are, because the houses are set up in such a way that houses are abutting each other and so on, I set up a solar thing on top of my house, it impedes or creates problems for my neighbor. Can happen? You can imagine that? So my neighbor may object. Now, how do you express this cost in rupees? This is a cost. Customer says, I like the idea of your solar panel. I like your idea of installing it in my home. But I'm afraid. I'm worried what my neighbors might say, right? So, for example, you can say that I have this beautiful solution, but it requires you to break open the wall, or you need to basically replace the switch panel or something like that in the house. Now, can I really do that or not? I don't know. Whether the building will allow me to do it, whether my authorities will allow me to do it, and so on. So, those are costs which can't be expressed in rupees. Okay. Now, many times when we come up with solutions which seem like obvious solutions and try to insert it into the customer's domain, right, or environment, we find these kind of issues coming up. They kind of express it not immediately. They'll say, okay, let's try it. They start the solution. When you start installing it, that is when you discover these kind of hidden costs. Costs where basically the behavior of the person may need to change if they have to adopt a solution, right? Costs where it might have an impact on environment, it may have an impact on something else, you may generate some other issues, side issues, which you cannot address easily, and so on. And this gets pushed back. So you might get an initial push in your market with your product or solution, but because of this pushback, right, you find basically that you can't go any further. This can happen. Okay, so at what cost? You have to know basically the customer's environment. It's not enough just to understand the need. You got to see in the way in which the customer will actually consume your product or solution. Is that going to make a big change in the customer's operating environment? If it is, there's a problem. Okay, you better recognize and solve it even before you start deploying a solution. Most customers will say they have a need. You make a product or service, you go to them and try to sell it to them. They're going to say, I'm not paying for it. Okay? It happens often. I've seen it many times. Okay? They're not paying for it because they thought, okay, I have this need. Doesn't mean that I said I'll pay for it. I thought that government will pay for it. Or somebody else will pay for it. Or the community will pay for it. Or, the shopkeeper will pay for it. The guy. I'll give you an example, right? So we had this interesting company, Vivek will remember, called Sasken Automotive Enterprise. Tata Automotive Components and Sasken, we made a joint venture. And then I was on the board of this company, and our first product we made was a digital display for Reva. Reva was the first electric car that came up, the Chetan Mining stuff came out. So we were making the digital display, we went to him and we sold the digital display. He was happy, he took it. We got very encouraged, we said this digital display is such a nice product, we should sell it to other automobiles. So we went to other companies. They said, we like the product, please give us the product, we'll try it and all that. And after that, we started discussing price. When we started discussing price, the guy said, I like your product, it is doing a lot of things, it's displaying many more things, but the price point at which you have to sell it to me is exactly not 1 rupee more, exactly the same price as my current analog instrumentation. He would give me a rupee more, okay, not even 1 rupee. So, whereas we are a digital product, analog product, you can imagine it just got some coils and things like that, it just shows meter, right? And now you're making a digital product, obviously the cost will be more, but they will not spend a rupee more. Most companies will expect you to deliver a lot more, but they will not pay you a rupee more. Okay, so you have a fantastic solution, but the customer is not willing to pay what you do, right? This is a standard problem, okay? Or they expect that somebody else will pay for it, right? Oh, I like this solution, teaching education solution, but why is the school not providing? School should pay for it. I'm already paying my tuition fee to the school. And the school will say, look, I know, I'm already giving you what I can with whatever I can. Now you have the parent to pay. Like this, the ball will keep shuttling back and forth between parent and school and you'll be running around. Correct? So you have to find not only a customer need, you have to find a way to solve that customer need without affecting the customer too much in terms of environment. You got to get the guy to pay for it. This is a hard issue to solve. This is where the startup founder, okay? Sometimes you will say, okay, let me just give it free in the beginning because there are other things that I can collect like data of the customer, something or the other. Many of these business models I don't have much faith in, but nevertheless, you can say all this and say, I'll try to build a product. Even then, I tell you, we created a company for education where we were offering things for free. Even then, people will not adopt your solution. Even then. Why is that? They may not adopt it because that your product, basically just to install that product, takes time of the customer. To learn about your product features, take customer time, and people value time. Okay? Just because you give it free doesn't mean they're going to use it. Okay? Just because you give it free, of course you can give it free and say, I will give you like Red is doing, I'll give you also some money. Right? Or other people are doing, right? Paytm and all did it. I say, I'll give you some more money, then maybe they will do it because they value their time that much. I don't know. You take 10 rupees and you're willing to install an app, right? Means your time is worth 10 rupees. I presume. Right? Economics should tell us. But people may be incentivized, I don't know. But still, nevertheless, time, convenience, right? If it, and more than anything else, if you say that I'm going to insert ads in your thing and all, it's annoying, it's intrusive. I hate the idea of apps. I install an app and it starts giving me notifications every morning. It's very, very intrusive. I don't like it, okay? So these are things which come in the way. And so they may actually install your app or whatever it is you have a product, but the minute they find it is intrusive, they'll uninstall it and go away. Alright, that's what they're going to do. Or it takes away some other liberties, data, you don't know what you're doing with the product, you're taking my data and doing what with it, I have no idea. Today these things are becoming very important, okay? Everybody is worried what your app is doing. Is it stealing contact information? Is it stealing that? Is it stealing that? Is it putting some malware in your phone? Right? All these kind of things. So even if it is free, customers still think about it as not free. They think that there is some cost in there, and unless you address that upfront, these concerns, you are never going to enter that customer, okay? You have to address it upfront. Now, most customers will come back and ask you, what else can I get along with the product? Like, am I getting 10 rupees more, some freebies? We have this, like, we are trying to do this app right now, and then people are asking us, are you going to give us some deals, offers? Whatever it is. We are helping migrants manage their daily, monthly dailies. That's what we're doing. But that company, so basically our people are asking, will you give us this freebie? Will you give us some free time, airtime? Will you give us this? Will you give us that? And so on. Whenever they ask us, this means that we have to think about our product. Is our need real or not?
Yes, sir.
They are asking something else. Give me something else. It means that their need was not real. They are not ready to pay for their real need. Okay. So clearly, value proposition questions come up when people ask these things. Okay. And if you are not clear about how you are going to be profitable from the product from day one, per customer, if you can't work your unit profitability from day one, for every customer you have to work out what are the numbers. You can't make the money. We started in some friends of ours in LifeGen. We started a company called LifeGen, like MedPlus and all this. It's a change of distribution. I have put my money in it and it went down the tube. The problem that company, why it went down the tube, that company, was because we did not have a profitability model from day one. That is it. I will put that as the single reason for failure for the company. Somebody thinks basically that if I can scale up and get the IT systems and operational efficiency to improve, and that improves, and this improves, and procurement scaling improves, then I will eventually reach profitability. That's all nonsense. Okay? You have to be clear right from day one what your profitability model. If you are not clear, it's gone. I think the model is gone. You're never going to make it later. Of course, it's possible that you can pivot. I will tell you later to get to profitability. It's possible. But if you don't have the model from day one, you're in trouble. Okay? People, sometimes there are problems that many startup people try to solve, which have been there festering for years together, hundreds of years, tens of years. Okay, and then you think that some technology will come and solve this problem. The answer is it won't. Most of the times, if the problem has been there for a long time, there is a structural reason for that problem. Okay, the structural. I found out, for example, that not where I'm staying now, but where I was staying earlier, there was no shop in that street. For some reason, there was no shop at all. I was wondering why there is nobody opening a shop. I mean, generally, if you have a lot of houses, people will come and automatically somebody will open one dukan, some shop will come and all. So I generally went around and asked somebody, why are you not opening a shop on my street? He said basically that there is this super store there which is run by some politician guy. The minute anybody tries to open a shop in this area, anywhere, that fellow will come with his tools. Okay. So nobody even wants to touch this area. They are happy opening shops elsewhere, but they'll never come here. So these are things nobody tells you. Nobody tells you these things. Okay. Most businesses have these kind of elements, right? Any business you start with these elements. You will have some right of way issue. You will have to run something over somebody's property. You will have to all these things you have to do. You have to do. And all of these things will basically be problematic. Okay, they are problematic things. So whenever a need is left unserved somewhere, usually therein lies some structural problem. Okay, it could be because some middleman is there who is making money. For a long time, I wondered why there is no train running between Kerala and Bangalore, or Kerala and Bangalore. The western coast of India doesn't have too many trains. Okay, then I figured out basically that the bus mafia over there basically has control over everything, including decision making and government. So they would not allow anything to be passed because that means that it impedes their ability to make business there. So all these kind of hidden factors will suddenly surface. Some middleman will be making money, he will surface. Okay? When you start your business, he will suddenly surface and he will put impediments. So you have to identify why some need has not been served for a long time. There will be a structural reason. If you don't know what the structural reason is and think that technology is going to fix it, you are in trouble. Okay, let me tell you. Okay, so you have to ask not only whether this need is there, but has it been there for a long time and is there an underlying structural problem? Winning the trust of a customer is extremely hard, especially first up. In IITM, we have a very clear policy to approve business plans, okay, of students, people who come to incubate there. If you have seen the customer, you have sold to the customer something else, they give you a then you incubate it. Otherwise, you're not interested in incubation. Very simple thing. Because the hardest problem is finding customers. Hardest, okay? Because winning the trust. If you're sold, so for example, I'll give you an example. There was this guy. He basically does service work. He has a company that does services of, this PLC machine. Triple ITM is all manufacturing related. Okay, so you have this PLC machines, programmable logic controller machines, right? This machines which basically control the CNC machines, machine tooling and all that it does, and it collects, it digitally drives it, and so it collects a lot of data. So these PLC machines, that various things inside, electronic components in it, fail. So basically, they call this guy and he services it and he repairs it and all. And he found that whenever he was replacing anything inside the CNC machine, he would bring components from abroad. Most of these components, wherever the machine was bought from, the PLC machine, PLC equipment, that vendor would supply, like Honeywell or something, he would supply the components at some very absurd price. Normally they discount the base product and then their components, spare parts they will sell at some absurd price. Okay, that's how they make a profit. So they lock in and then they will basically. So he figured out that all these components are standard components, some thyristors, some UCD and all that. Why can't we make it in India? He started making it in India and he used to go to tell customers that I can substitute these things with my product rather than somebody else's product. This is the company he created. Now the reason why we liked this company and incubated him was because he was already selling lots of services into many companies in the sector. So the customers trusted him. If he says I will replace this with something else, if somebody comes and does electrical work in your house and he is doing it regularly, and every time you are happy with this fellow, he replaces your tube light, he replaces this fan, everything. He does a good job. Next time the guy comes and says, why are you using this particular regulator or something like that? Why I have a better regulator I found in the market. You should try it. You will obviously say yes because you trust this guy, isn't it? You will do that. So getting the customer's trust is very hard. This is why it's a good idea to sell to a known customer. You have a credible way to sell to a known customer first time, right? And of course, if you want to expand to more customers, that becomes harder because it's not not scalable model. But then you can build on references, right? Word of mouth and so on. So sold those to customers, those guys speak good about you. You carry their references and go to other customers, and slowly you can build the credibility. Or at least you can tell people that so and so other people have bought it, and you can check them out if you want for reference, right? That way it works. When you're doing B2B selling, right? You're selling to another company. 99% of the time, you go to the top of the company, CEO, CXO, somebody, you make a sale, the guy is very excited. But he says, look, in my company, if you have to get something to be bought, you need some person. This person who is an operational manager, that person who is finance person, that person who is ABC, whoever it is, has to sign off, right? He has to like the product. You go to the school principal, correspondent, whatever it is, you have sold a product. The guy likes it. He says, I like this idea, you should try it. But unless my headmistress signs off or my teacher signs off, physics teacher or somebody signs it off, this product I don't think I can accept it because eventually they are the ones who are going to. The minute you see this, some flag should go up, okay, for you. Because most of the times these person XYZ, whoever it is, will probably block your product. They're going to be impacted by the product you're going to give. Many times, right? They have some vested interest in keeping the status quo going. Introducing anything else is probably going to change something for them. They don't like it, they'll block it. Okay? So you're going to get resistance from them. From the minute you say somebody needs to sign off, that is a problem. Okay? So you have to work through the hierarchy. I have often found basically that when you sell from the top and go down, you get into trouble. I often do my selling at the bottom and then go to the top. Okay? This has worked for me, at least when I was in the company, I used to do that quite a while. Make sure the managers below are already signed up when you go to the top because you don't get top people's time often. When you go there, that day and time, and the guy says, other fellow is there, why? He's already signed off, you should tell him. He's for it. Call him if you want. That guy comes to the room and says, I'm sold on. That seals the deal. Okay? That's the way it works. Alright? This is a much harder problem. Okay? You have met my need and all that. Yeah, I'm very happy with you, but now I have found somebody else. So, can you sell to the same customer? Often this becomes very difficult. You can sell to one customer, but when you go back to that customer, the guy, if he has found the product nice and he found some other product which is more compelling or is from a brand or well-known person or something else, and he bought it from there. So you created the market. You entered and created the market, right? It was a need, it was not being served. You entered and created the market. But once the market has been created, you think that the market is yours. It is not. I'm sorry. Some other biggie will find an easy way to enter the market and displace it. Okay? So keeping the customer or retaining the customer is harder than finding the customer. Finding the customer is one thing, it's one set of problems. But retaining the customer is a wholly different set of problems. Do I have a what is called a unique selling proposition, whatever it is? Do I have something which basically other people don't have? And other people not only don't have, they cannot create easily. Because of their way of doing business or whatever. They can't do it. Then I have something. I have something which is unique. Very often, most people don't have this thing called USP. We write it in books, we teach it in strategy, not. But it's very difficult to create this thing called USP. More easy to create something like a lock-in. Okay, lock-in basically means you do something which basically does not make it easy for the customer. Like you created an installation or something in his house, it's not easy for him to take out. Okay, something like that. Okay, those kinds of things. Basically, you have created IT software is a great place for getting lock-in because you have all these databases, they have some unique formats, you have some APIs, they're all written in some geek language. Nobody knows how to change it from one to another, and so you lock the person in for life. Okay, that is how SAP is not doing it now. Okay, even though they are not very good, they know basically how to lock customers. So that is a thing that one has to think about. How to continue to keep the customer, right? And many times you see basically that customers come back and say, if I want to buy more from you, I want to repeat orders from you, and I want to build you up, I need something to show that you are committed to this space. Okay? I am not satisfied with the fact that you have a product, I am using the product, that's fine, but I want to see that you are committed to this. So will you continue to support me, so you will give me an engineer who will sit in my site, and will take care of my needs on a daily basis, this kind of thing. Alright, you create a customer support center, whatever it is. How does your support structure work? You can show your customer satisfaction, whatever. Unless you see significant investments being made by the startup company, right, in creating this kind of systems that basically demonstrate that you are committed to this space, you are going to be in this space for a long time, this solution space, or you get the backing of a credible agency, which will sign up with some agency which has a brand who is willing to put their brand, co-brand it with you, right? And then basically, then people think, okay, if this brand, if Tata is supporting it, basically it must be credible, something like that. Okay, that's not right. Okay? Most times people can't scale their business because it's founder dependent. 90% of the time, founder dependent business. For example, you go to a restaurant, you like the food, because somebody has cooked the food. If that person goes away and his son or daughter or somebody else comes and cooks and the food quality is terrible, you don't want to go to a restaurant. So if it is like that, that business is not scalable. And if you as a founder basically are depending on your selling skills, your execution skills, your things, ABCD things to actually serve customers and so on, there is no scalability model in that. Okay? So how do you find a way by which you can replicate what you are able to do individually as a founder? How you are able to replicate that across the organization, create a kind of ethos in the organization where similar things are being done, is a very hard problem. Most people can't get it right. Okay? So usually basically founders are very hands-on and then minute they see a problem, they jump in and try to fix it. Okay? And they don't give space to other people to come up and they don't get trained people, they don't take effort to do all that. So therefore there is no scalability, there is no focus on quality, no focus on consistency, metrics and so on. Simply because the founder is so busy selling and executing. They don't have time for me. Okay? So that becomes a problem. And that's where companies fail to scale. Okay? They may reach some number like I've seen companies reach 80 lakhs, 1 crore, 2 crores. These numbers are very common. 5 crores, even 3, 4 crores. And then they stagnate at that level for a long time. They're unable to grow beyond that. Because it's very founder driven. Okay? This is the hardest, in some sense, problem because it breaks companies. I've seen many companies breaking for this reason, right? You go to a customer has a need, you serve the need, the customer is happy, but in the process, the customer has seen a lot of things that you have. He has seen your method, your working, he has evaluated you, right, over a period of time. Now the customer actually opens up and says, that was not my need, that was a need, I agree. But, that is significantly irrelevant. I have a different need which is slightly more interesting and big. Can you serve this need? Okay. Now it may turn out basically that this new need requires you to do a pivot, right? I'll give you an example, right? Vivek will remember we had in Sasken, we created this joint venture called Connection. We were just discussing it in lunchtime. Since we were discussing it, I thought I'll tell you. There's a company that was meant to basically IoT, this is long back, I don't know how many years, 15 years ago. We're doing end-to-end IoT stuff for pipelines. We are monitoring pipelines and a lot of things. And we hit a customer who said basically that, the bigger problem for us basically is managing assets which basically, like for example, telecom towers. For various reasons. So, but the business model for telecom towers is different and the business is much larger. If you hit this telecom tower space, you can create a business 100 times what you have today. Okay, imagine. Now, as a startup, you have to decide whether you want to get into this business of doing the telecom tower monitoring, which is 100 times larger business, probably lower profit, requires a lot of resources. In fact, the company will be sunk into that. Or you should stay focused on doing your cube solutions, one-time solutions, pipeline and all. Should you make this pivot or not? This is a question, okay? And many companies, their founders, basically there are 3 people in the founding team. One guy thinks we should do it, 2 guys think we should do it, and maramari and all that, and they break up. Company breaks this time, okay? But this pivot is the one, in most companies, this pivot is the one actually that they did, and that pivot was successful, and that's why the company is made. Many companies you hear, go about talking to them, you'll find out that they did make this pivot. The point is that customers don't open up in the beginning. They will say they have some need, that's fine. When you start working with customers only, their real need will start surface. And as an opportunity, if you are able to address that and you make the pivot successfully, then only a real company actually gets set up properly. But that transition is extremely hard. Okay? So that's all I had. So you can see basically that all I have presented basically is some viewpoints that a customer might present to you and how would you respond. Okay? So what we will do is that we will have Vivek talk, and then Suresh, maybe you can say a few words, and then we will open the floor for questions after that. Okay? So that we don't have, right? So we'll have questions for everybody, all 3 of us. Is that okay? All right. Thank you.
What we are trying to solve, I will try to elaborate that first, then you will get to understand how we do that. So, the first problem which we are facing is the students are actually, there are very good institutes in India, like IITs especially. I actually feel proud to give this BSc degree. Although I am a direct diploma student, but I actually feel proud to have that kind of quality which I actually missed in my college life. So, there are a lot of students that are actually missing out on these kind of quality these institutes has, like IIT, IIM or any other colleges who are covering different domains. So see, point is students are not only from domains like studies domain or tech domain. There are a lot of domains which have the capability in future to actually earn money, and people are actually doing it by earning money from different domains. So what we do is we connect all these students. We have a user base. We have a students on our platform who are from these colleges, the top colleges, the current students, alumni, industry professionals, professors, everyone, and we connect these people to other students who are from tier 2 or tier 3 colleges, which might miss on a lot of big opportunities which these institutes have. So there is a very minute difference in these colleges. Like tier 1 colleges gives us we are studying everywhere, right? But what's the difference we have in these colleges and the other colleges? That's the community, the network, the kind of exposure we get, the kind of thinking outside the box, and not just thinking about getting a job. So it's all about that difference, and we want to fill that gap by actually engaging them, all the other students, onto one platform and let them learn, collab, and even interact with these sort of people who are actually learning from such great institutes. That's the kind of problem we are actually focused on. So even we are actually trying to these all colleges also have very good curriculum system, right? But other colleges might don't have. So how to actually, I don't want to lag behind just because of the curriculum, right? I want to grow, I want to learn. I don't want to be recognized not as an IITian, but I want to have more startups. I want to learn more, and I want to just do other than a job. So yeah, that's the problem we are actually trying to actually fulfill. Moreover, so that's the thing I have talked about, the community. The community is the word we are more focused on. So, networking is very important in nowadays. Even in the coming future, if you are a college student or industry professional, it doesn't matter. Networking is one thing which you need. Either you are a student or industry professional, or even anything any profession you have. So that's the kind of community we provide to you. So how we provide that? Let's look into that. So basically, our vision is to build that inclusive community. So let's suppose you are a first year BTech student, okay, and suddenly in the first year you are interested in music domain. But how will you pursue? And you want to pursue your career in that music domain. But how will you do that? You might go on Instagram and you start posting content. But it will take you a lot of time to build that actual customer and actually people who are actually liking you. You can go on other platforms as well. But at the end of the day, what you need is you need community, you need network, you need mentors to support you in that particular domain. We give you that. We give you that based on your interested domain. So that there are various domains we cover onto our platform, like we can say coding, content writing, memes, photography, or finance, startups, a lot of different domains. Because every domain, we feel like every domain has the capability of earning money in the near future. Anyhow, and then students are capable of doing anything they want. That's the reason we cover more to more domains, so that they are not limited to only studies, but even if they want to pursue their career in more domains, they can do that. So these are some how we do that is, first of all, we actually focus on more peer-to-peer learning network. So if we connect with people who are from these good institutes, and even if we want to pursue connect with people who are from that particular domain we are interested in, so we are building a peer-to-peer networking because they already have done that thing, they have already grown in that thing. So learning from them is although more important than just learning from your books. So yeah, that's the thing we are more focused on. So that at the same time, we build a social network so that you can actually build your career, you can showcase your talent as well with the community you are interested in. Let's suppose you are interested in finance and you are very much you have very good ideas on finance and investing and everything. But where to show them? You have a community, you have a group, so you can show them and you can actually interact with them on daily basis. So these are some snapshots of our app, which is currently on the App Store and Play Store as well. But we are actually going on with the revamp version, and soon will be active as well. So what happens is these are a lot of cultural events also happen. So I will tell you how we actually want to make every college IIT. Our main logo is we want to make every college IIT or that kind of tech. We want every student to feel that personality which these students feel. So how we do that is, these are some various audio events. I will come to you in this later. So basically, there are three ways how you can communicate or interact with the people. So the first is the group. Okay, so we have a different groups, different domains on different music startups and all. So you can connect with that particular community in that whole group. In that group, so that even if you ask a random question in the group, people will be there to answer you or will be help. They will be there to help you. You can connect with them on one-to-one basis as well. And moreover, you can connect with them on these audio events. Okay, so these audio events helps you to interact with them on verbally basis. So users are very much welcome to create their own events on any topic they are interested in. So maybe strangers and even your friends can join that event. You can definitely share the link of the event, and they will be happy to join, and you can actually communicate with them more and more. So that's how we engage people more and more and actually help them grow. Connecting is not only just building a network. Connecting is not only just building a network. Just getting a connection, sending a connection request on LinkedIn is not something enough for the actually growing the community or your network. It's actually more important is to communicate with them, learn from them. Actually, you want to actually grow from them. That's the reason we are more focused on that. Right now, we have a user base of more than 120k students, out of which 3,000 are daily active users, and monthly active users are more than 19,000 plus.
I can see that in the Play Store.
Yeah, it's available on Play Store.
Asking about how many people are there in your team.
We have 10 core members, and other than are just interns and everything. But the 10 core members are the backbone of this company. The 3 are the co-founders, which you must have seen in the Shark Tank as well. 3 are the community heads. We have a community-based startup. So we are more focused on everything is on community. So our app has a community. Everything is all about the community. So we have 3 community heads. I'm the one, and we have the other, that is the marketing head, and the technical head is the co-founder itself. In a very brief, we have built our app completely based on Flutter because it provides a very good support for iOS and Android as well. And on cloud, we are working for AWS. It comes under AWS EdTech Accelerator program. So yeah. Okay, so we actually connect people based on, in the morning I got a suggestion that what if we can connect with people based on the location. But our main focus is to connect with people based on their interest. So our main motto is even if I wanted to connect someone on LinkedIn, I might connect with them. But even I have more than 5,000 followers on LinkedIn, but I will not be able to interact with even 500 of them. See, right now we actually segregate customers like the users on the basis of the college they are into, what the degree they are pursuing. So even if you like search in the search bar, if you search like IIT Madras, so you will get a lot of students who are from IIT Madras and doing which degree, and you can see the portfolio as well, and you can follow them. And when they will do anything on the app, any event or any interaction with the community, you will get a notification also that yeah, this person, your friend is actually communicating on this topic, so you might be interested to join. You can do that as well. Okay, so I'll tell you the three companies which you mentioned, all the three are not our competitors. The competitors we have is a company named Blue and there's a company named D2C. So these companies are what? They are more focused on the community, the student community. So even if you see, there was a Twitter deal going on. So Elon actually stopped that Twitter deal because of he was not able to get the. So he actually stopped that deal because he was not able to get the database of spam accounts. So these platforms which you are talking about, they are actually open to all the communities. But we are more focused on student community to provide them value because they are in the initial stage, they are pursuing their career. And even if we open the community, it will be a same Twitter, Instagram or LinkedIn again. So even if like the reason is that you can connect with people on LinkedIn, but how often you interact with people who are connected with? Okay, so I understand they are very much specified about the product, but the point is, I'm just asking you one question: how often you interact with the people you are following on Instagram who are actually on the professional wise? I'm saying, how often you interact with people on LinkedIn and Instagram? So we have actually the main reason is everything is like the app is available on App Store and Play Store, but how we earn? Okay, so what we do is to the colleges, the other colleges which we are focusing on right now. The first is we provide them a premium model. Okay, so what we do is we digitize the campus. We bring the campus onto the app. Okay, so what happens is let's suppose a student is from very unknown college that has started like few days back. Okay. So that student joined that college, but they don't know what to do. So we actually change the life of that student in just 3 steps. Okay. So what we do is we digitize the campus and we bring the campus onto the app. Okay. So when that student, we have a different college space onto our platform. So when that student actually completes the assignments or attend the lectures, that student gets event coins. So what these coins are? You can actually redeem these coins in different products and in the form like wireless headphones, wireless chargers, certifications and some more products. And you can actually earn coins through various ways as well. So that's how we interact, like bring that student to all like our platform so that he can learn in a more interactive way. Second, the person who is the student don't know what he wants to do in that career life. So we provide them community, we provide them exposure, we provide them self-awareness about the different domains. So they might interact and explore the domains as well. So after even deciding the domain, the third step is that we provide them opportunities, internships, jobs by actually giving them opportunities not only in terms of internships or jobs but also hackathons and different challenges also, which make them interact more and more with the community. So that's the first model we have of earning like in the first year we give a free model to the colleges and after that we pay a free model. Second we run brand campaigns onto our platform. So we got featured in Shark Tank. So Ashneer, Aman and even Piyush Bansal like Aman suggested that you can provide the products onto the platform and you can actually engage the people because they are also looking for the community. They are not only just building the products, they want the community, and student community is one community which is the more focused community. They are actually focusing on. So they said that. So we run brand campaigns onto our platform and we charge commission for that. Third thing, we run edtech courses through network onto our platform. So there are a lot of different edtech courses going on in different companies. So on different domains as well. So we invite them to integrate their courses onto our platform and make students learn more and interact more so that they can also benefit from it and the students can also benefit from it. So our more focus is not competing with companies but collaborating with companies. The last model which we have is like we actually if the college wants to do any event, okay, so we provide an e-ticketing platform to the college. So you can the college can actually provide tickets and we charge commission for that. That's the 4 revenue models we actually focus on. This all the things are like going under the process right now, and very soon we will be coming up with a new version of our app. Last year we made a revenue, we started in January 2021. Last year we made a revenue of 80 lakhs in the year, and this year we are expected to grow it to 2 CR in this. Moreover, I will say that we are not focusing on just, it's okay. We want students to feel that gap the other students are actually feeling in their college life. Even I belong to a very Xavier's college from Jaipur. I actually wondered in my whole bachelor's life what happens in IIT, what environment it gets, what students are actually doing there. I want to know. So I will connect with them as soon as complete my 12th. I will join event lead. I will connect with them and I will interact with them, learn with them, and I can actually get the exposure and the environment of that college as well. So that's the main motto we are working on.
Now the time is for Mr. Vivek Khemani to come on the stage, and he will be giving his speech on the theme entrepreneurial mindset. So I think in India we have three kind of diet. Some people are non-vegetarian, some people are vegetarian, and some people feeds on the motivation. So on to you, sir. Please go on the stage.
It's kind of difficult to go after a good lunch and give a speech. So I'll try and make it interesting. But when Sankalp reached out to me and said that I should come and talk about entrepreneurial mindset, I thought I don't know what mindset definition should I talk about, but I just wanted to share some of my experience. All right, so I think we'll start this session with Q&A, right, where I will ask the question. Alright, so that I know that everybody is here. Alright, so how many people are here because they want to become an entrepreneur? Wow. Big cheers to all of you for raising your hands and having the dream of becoming an entrepreneur. And so tell me, in one word, right, across anybody who wants to answer the question, why is it that you want? What is it that you want to get out of entrepreneurship? Satisfaction. Job givers. Solve a problem. So, what I'm hearing, other than the movement of the papers, is creating an impact, maybe on the society. Right? Some versions of that impact is by creating jobs. Right? Some version of impact is by creating profits, helping a community, problem solving. Right? Solving a problem is probably a way of getting to that.
From life. Satisfaction from life.
Satisfaction from life.
This is independence. This is independence.
Independence.
Innovation and solving the long-lasting problems.
So, I've asked this question to about 10,000 people over the last few years. Okay, in many of these addresses that I've been given the opportunity to talk to, and very rarely have I heard the answer money. So, 2 out of 20 were honest, but I will tell you that is the ratio that I've seen throughout these meetings. But I think it is really the case. Most of us want to become an entrepreneur because we want to get more, right? And that more out of life is definitely one part of that is money. We cannot deny that. And becoming an entrepreneur is a great way of taking a shot at that. But it's a more certain way of other things, creating a greater social impact, creating an impact on job creation, solving a problem for somebody else, and so on and so forth. So I think the reason why you want to become an entrepreneur has to be very, very crystal clear in your mind, because when you are then an entrepreneur, right, like Sahil experienced on this stage, where he had 200 people asking questions, and he probably has 2 million people out there asking the question as to why should I buy this service, right? So, the question that G raised, right? So, it is only going to be about having the energy to answer these questions. Many times these questions will come from outside, several times these questions will come from within. And the only way you can have the energy to do it is if you have a very, very good reason to become right? And getting great valuation for your company is not very because that is a rare event, and that cannot be the reason that will drive you and have the energy, and have the energy to answer these questions. Alright, so find your real reason why you raise your hand in this meeting. Okay. Alright, so I have like a few slides. So the lessons that I learned around entrepreneurship, right? So I'm going to talk about two or three concepts on this slide. Right, the first two concepts are around 4 M's and concept of balance. All right, these 4 M's are actually something that I even used today when I met the 10, 11 teams that were demonstrating at the showcase. Right, so one very important lesson that I learned around entrepreneurial mindset, right, is that a lot of it is going to be about the man, the method, the market, and the money. Okay, everything that GV covered in his session, right, Professor Venkatesh. What do they call GV? Alright, so everything that GV covered in his session, right? So, who are you as a person, and what is driving you to become an entrepreneur? That has to be very clear, right? Which is what I said earlier. The method, right? So, what is the problem that you're solving, and how is it that you're solving it, right? And everybody has to solve some problem, right? Which is, let's say, address the need of a customer and address it in a unique way. That is going to be important about the entrepreneurship venture. The market, right? Are you solving one person's problem? Are you solving a problem that many people have? Are you solving a problem which is small, or is it a big? Is it a niche, or is it a broadly applicable problem? What is the market that you are going after? Right? Is it a market that has a structural issue? As an example that we mentioned earlier, right? So these are some of the things that are going to be important. And finally, the money. Right? So the money is an intrinsic part of the enterprise because you are doing an enterprise which has to be self-sustaining, right? And the answer lies in the unit economics. If you can make money out of every customer that you're serving, then you can have a self-sustaining venture, right? So the money is a very important part of the equation. Unless your venture is making money, you are not going to be able to make money, right? So these are the 4 M's that I think are important in entrepreneurship. The other thing is balance, right? So lot of times there is a whole bunch of emphasis on customer, right? Which is obviously you need to have that emphasis on customer because that is the starting point of the entire value stream. But it is very important that you have the same emphasis on 2 other parts of the startups that you have, right? One is the employees and another is other stakeholders. The other stakeholders could be, regulatory people who are driving the regulation. They could be your investors. They could be your family, for example, right? The employees, of course. The reason why you need to keep these things in balance is because until and unless you maintain the balance of your demand and supply and people who are helping you in the process, it cannot be a very sustainable engine, right? And I think Professor Suresh said it extremely well. You are not going to be running a sprint; it will be a marathon, right? And every source of energy that you can find, you need to gather that and keep it and protect it and preserve it, because it is going to be a marathon. Right? And the only way you can keep running that marathon is if you maintain the balance between these things. Right? So every time you're thinking about creating your venture, think about what is the canvas of that venture, who are the various stakeholders, and how are you taking care of all aspects and maintaining the balance. Okay, some interesting things that also reflect the mindset is valuation is always a derivative number, right? It is not something that you will get first. It's something that you will get last, right? And you will get it only as a derivation of the value that you create, right? So when you have identified a need, you have solved that need, you have created a product that addresses that need, you are creating value for the customer. Only a portion of that value is what you will partake of. A sum of all of that is what your value is. Right? So if you see a company being valued at $1 billion, inherently that company would have created $100 billion of value for its customer base. Okay. So if you are worried about valuation, don't do that, because valuation will happen. Worry about the number in the brackets, which is the value. How do you quantify the value that you're creating for your customer? If you just constantly worry about that, valuation. That's one. Second is, what I have found in many cases, including myself, right, is ambition, commitment, and capability are not at the same level. Often we have great ambition, but we don't have the commitment. Sometimes we have the ambition and we are committed behind the cause, but we don't have the capability. Sometimes we have the capability, a bunch of people who have a whole bunch of capability, they have a great ambition, but they just don't have commitment. Okay. The extent of your success will be limited by the least of these three. Okay. Your individual success will be limited by the least of these three. So you have to make sure that they are all at the same level and they are set a very high bar for that. And if there are aspects of your, makeup which don't fulfill one of the three, then you have to build a team that will make sure that the venture as a whole has the right levels of ambition commitment. Right? So when you are thinking about how do I fulfill my entrepreneurial dream, think about these things. Right? Am I committed to the cause? Do I have the right levels of ambition so that I can reach escape velocity? Do I have the right capabilities that are required to be, either myself or as a team that are required to be successful? Right? Innovation to collaboration. So I kind of referred to that earlier. Technology businesses are more and more open systems now. Right? You mentioned about SAP, right? They lock the customer in. But there are newer and newer software which are just unbundling the offerings and then are recreating the offerings in collaboration with other products. Right? And that is going to be a new way, that is going to be the future of how people create technology businesses. Let respective areas of excellence develop, and the success of a business will depend on how well are you creating collaboration in the ecosystem. Change fast, fail fast, rise metrics. Right? Again, something that around this has been said before. What you do not measure will fail. Right? Everything that you do has to become very, very measurable, quantified, and tracked at a maniacal level. Right? You have to be extremely paranoid about the metrics of your business. You have to define them well, and you have to track them. And the aspect about pivoting. Right? So, I mean, one of the important aspects about pivoting or about fine-tuning your business is failing fast, right? I mean, you are passionate about an idea, you're going behind an idea, and that can blind you from the ways in which that idea can fail. So you have to avoid those blind spots. You have to be open to being rational about your decisions. It's a hard balance, but being unemotional about chucking what you might have built and starting again from the beginning. Yeah. And finally, spot long-term trends, take bets, right? There is no return unless there is equivalent amount of risk involved. So, spotting long-term trends and taking bets is going to be important in terms of mindset as an object. Right? So, I'm going to skip some of this for time, but one of the most important long-term trends that we spotted at Quantiphi is how enterprise adoption of AI was going to become mainstream. Right? We kind of started spotting this 10 years back and started early in the space, and today we are part of many transformational adoption of AI solutions in large companies, right? And the estimates are really crazy, like $4 trillion of economic impact that AI is supposed to make in the world, as an example. Right? And where are people using this? Right? So a lot of us are using products that have embedded machine learning or cognitive capabilities in them, unlocking of a phone using Face ID. Right? So a very basic example like that. Frictionless customer experiences. During COVID, a lot of call centers, for example, were not able to support from physical locations. Right? Conversational AI then started to become mainstream very rapidly. Teleradiology, as an example, remote monitoring for physicians started to become mainstream. Many of these long-term trends, you have to be able to read more, network more, identify what are the things that can become important for your business. Okay. So, as an example of another long-term trend that we are seeing again at Quantiphi is the cost of prediction. Right. So, as the cost of prediction starts going down, right. So, and the cost of prediction is is a factor of the compute power that is required to compute the prediction and how often do you get it wrong, right? So the lesser the cost of predicting and the higher the accuracy of the prediction, the lower is the cost of the right prediction, right? As you can see today, what's happening is soon after 2010, companies like Netflix and Amazon, they actually started to use recommendation engines in their business, right? Helping customers discover the offerings on their platform. And you can see that Netflix, 80% of the stuff that you watch on Netflix is not by pressing on the search button, it is by clicking on a recommendation that is already available on the screen, right? Amazon today gets 5% of recommendations converted into sales, right? So Amazon is actually way behind as compared to Netflix on this metric. But as the cost of prediction will drop, right, what will happen is Amazon is not even going to actually wait for you to place an order. It will actually first send you the stuff. So you will have somebody coming at home and actually carrying some stuff, and you will, out of the 5 things, you will probably choose 2 and let the other 3 go. Okay. Now, the intent here is, how do I actually start pushing sales and discovering your need even before you have actually taken an action about it? Right? That's you're kind of predicting the customer need even before the customer has actually expressed and taken an action on your platform. Right? Those are the kind of transformational things that machine learning, AI, and those kind of things can enable. And it will depend on how quickly can the cost of prediction.
I have a question.
as you mentioned, as Amazon might send you 5 products and you might select one. In case if the customer ends up buying none, doesn't it increase the cost of reverse logistics for the company?
Totally does, right? That's why they're not doing it today. They have to get.
Maybe Indian consumer psychology is totally different from how it will work in your solution.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I totally agree with you. I'm talking about a trend that is likely to happen where the cost of getting it wrong is the chance of getting it wrong goes down drastically. Right? So we are not there yet. We have to wait to get there. But once that happens, right, a lot of things will.
One point you mentioned was change fast, drive matrix. Right? Can you give us one of the examples from your experience that it really had an impact, really had a big impact on your business and it grew? Can you give one such example?
So, one of the things I will tell you is the first time we went to, as we started building the team at Quantiphi. So, there are about 3,500 people who work at Quantiphi. Half of them, about 2,000 of them, this is their first job. Okay. So, there are people we directly hired from colleges over the years, and they have been Quantiphi. But that was not the case when we first started. So when we first started, we actually started to look for people who are called as data science unicorns, right? And who can actually handle the data, the infrastructure, and the mathematics that needs to go behind AI or machine learning, all of it together, right? And what we realized that it was a big struggle because there are unicorns as it indicates are actually a mythical creature, right? So there are very, very few of them that we found. So our reaction to that was we actually split it into 3-4 different parts, and now actually it has become 6-7 different parts. And we started to create what we now call as synthetic unicorns, where we have people actually focus on developing expertise in parts of these skill sets and actually bring them together on a process and a technology platform so that they can execute projects together. Right? So that has actually helped us scale the organization and scale the reach that we are able to do. That's an example of how we reacted to supply constraints. All right. So, I'm just going to close with some of the things that, I was focusing on when I was at college, right? And I mentioned about a few of them already, but, have the right levels that are required in terms of capability, ambition, and commitment. It is going to be important to keep your energy levels up. Stay dynamic, right? Don't have any legacy carried forward in terms of, your knowledge. Make sure that you keep refreshing it. At all times, right? So, doing the entrepreneurial journey, a lot of it is not about the learning. A lot of it is actually about the unknown, right? The fixed ideas that we carry forward from our past and how we want to implement them, a lot of them have to be done. Right? Unless and until you discard your old ideas, you will not discover. Right? So, stay dynamic. Be risk taking. Okay, I mean, you have to, like a lot of people ask me this question, when is a good time to start? Right? So, I mean, the good time to start was yesterday. So, you just start. Right? It is never like a good time to start. When you start, it's a good time to start. Right? In your journey as an entrepreneur, there is no way that you will not see a downside. Okay. So if you are starting in a down cycle, right, when things are bad and like startups are laying off people and funding is hard to come by and there is recession out there in the market, that probably is the best time, right? Because you will be building your organization, you will be building your business in the toughest way. And when good times come, then you are already there. Right? So that's what I would say about risk taking. Right? Networking. I think we heard about networking before also, and I think it is extremely critical in the competing network world. If you are going to start a business that is going to be a global business, you have to know that either your demand or your supply is going to be on two different parts of the planet, right? So you have to be very, very well networked around the world, right? And long-term perspective. So when I used to work at Sasken, somebody told me this, and that was my second year in the industry. And now I've been in the industry for 20 years, but this is something that I just never forget, which is your career is not a one-day match. Right? That is what was told to me in 2002, because 2020 did not exist. But if I were to give this a modified example today, your career is not a 2020 match; it is a test. Right? And you have to look at it like that. When you look at it like that, and I think I was fortunate that somebody told me this at that time, and I was also fortunate that I kind of learned under GD for 10 years at Sasken, right? Because I was told that the first 10 years of a 40-year career, you are just still learning, right? So don't be in a rush. Think of it as a long-term, goal, and just go at it now. That's it. Unlike real entrepreneurs who have stories to tell from their life, business school people only tell stories that they read from outside, then they wave hands and then they finish their education. So, as is like every other business school, practically let me tell you the story. Let's start with the story. So many years ago, we had a startup which was trying to develop an operating system for low cost. These feature phones, which a lot of people use in rural areas, and this was about 10 years ago. There were a lot more people using this low-cost phones than what people are using right now. So the problem with low-cost phones is that the chipsets are quite weak. At that point of time, Nokia was big. Nokia OS was quite clunky. So they said, okay, let's disrupt, like as it is with every other entrepreneur, they want to disrupt something or other. So they said, let's disrupt this space, because if we have a new operating system, then a lot more features can be enabled on the feature phones, which basically the low-income people are using. So this was a startup on Banerghat Road where I am, which is very far away from civilization. And then there was another company which was also trying to do a low-cost phone for the same reasons. That there are a lot more low-cost phones in the world than smartphones. But let us enable a better operating system for low-cost phones. But this company was based out of Silicon Valley. It's a Fortune 500 company. They had millions of dollars that was given to them. So this entrepreneur who wanted to start, he said, you know what? He went to a conference and was trying to talk to the people. He said, what do you think? Do you think we can come up with a new operating system for the new cost phone? A lot of people said, yeah, sounds good, but then how do we do it? But they met one guy who said, I also have been thinking about this. He said, let's start. He said, let's start. So, when you are thinking of starting, right, you need money, you need resources, you need somebody to give you a large check to start. He said, what do we do? And this was around 2007-8 when TCS and Infosys were recruiting trespassers even, right? Even people were walking by saying that there is a direction, let us come join. And in that kind of situation, who do you think will join this tiny little startup, first of all, on Banerghat Road? They were not getting into. Jobs were plenty. So people who couldn't even make it to or trespass TCS or Infosys were the ones who were trying to join. Whereas on the other side, you have
a Fortune 500 company, they could hire MIT engineers, they can write large checks. So that's how they were developing the operating system. So these guys said, you know what, guys, at the end of the day, we have a couple of people who could work, but we need more. We need more in the sense, we need some engineers, we need computers, we need an office space. So where do we get it? So this fellow looked around and said, I have a friend, let me go talk to him. He went and go talk to this friend. He said, you have a small company, you have a bunch of people working for you, but you're usually working in the US shift, and so there are times when your machines are not being used. So here's my value proposition. I need some engineers. First of all, I need office space. I need computers. I need engineers. I can't pay you any money. I'll give you 2% of my company. What is the valuation of this company? $0 billion. It's nothing, it's just an idea. They are good friends, they can't say anything. He said, okay. What to do, you are my friend, I'll give you. So this guy started work. They worked for a year and they said, okay, they were able to build a little bit of products. They were doing some services to get money. And somebody told them there is this place in IIMB, they offer incubation. It's very good. And friends said, I'm going to move to Jaipur because that's a better place for me to start. He moves to Jaipur and Vivek comes to IIMB. Continuing to work on the product. It just so happened that he went to a conference in Bombay. And bumped into somebody. You know, what do you do? He said, I'm developing an operating system for low-cost phones. He said, oh really? Because I'm from this company. We are also working on something similar. He said, oh, okay, good, great. He said, can you show me what you have? I said, no, I don't have my equipment, but I have a demo that I can show you on my computer. So he showed his demo on the computer. This guy looks at it and said, don't move, I'll come back. So he goes and catches hold of another guy and he says, look, you should talk to this guy. So he brings the other guy here. He said, show the demo again. So Sunil showed the demo again. The other fellow was like that. He said, you know what? This guy is from Qualcomm. So he was a Qualcomm engineer. He was also heading a division for operating system for low-cost phones. He had this MIT engineer. They had about $25 million check. These guys had nothing. They had 2% that he had given to a friend. But he had a product which was far better than what Qualcomm had. Right? That came as a surprise. He said, how is it that you guys are able to do so much more than what our engineers have been able to do? So he said, what is your problem? He said, you know what, we don't have money. Nobody is giving us money. We are just doing big services here, there, and getting money and putting it back into our product. He said, good. So he goes back to the US and then talks to Qualcomm Ventures and gives them $250,000. Says that now use this to develop. Don't do all these services, just focus and develop this product. So 1 year later, he buys them out for about $12 million. How much did his friend make? 2% of 12 million, not bad money. Right? 240,000. Pick one. You guys have got data in there. Not bad money, $250,000. So, the question is, how is it that a small company with no resources, no talent, located in Bannerghatta Road, have a product better than somebody who is a Fortune 500 company with large talented teams trying to develop similar products, right? So that is the exciting part of entrepreneurship. I've seen people with no money. Avinash fellows bought a 7.5 crore house. He started with nothing. He started with sending PPTs to companies saying that, would you want to buy my product? There was no product. No product. He just sent it to people and somebody said yes. He said, how much are you willing to pay? And that's how he started. Very wealthy fellow right now, made $few million. So the thing about entrepreneurship is, the exciting part is, You can come up with products or services which are far better than the incumbents. And that's the exciting part. The hard part is doing it. So what do I tell you? Entrepreneurship is not about hitting the ball out of the park. Entrepreneurship is not about saying I'm going to make $1 billion company. It's about taking little shots. As she said, right? Procrastination. So it's about doing the doable. If you take 1 run out of every ball, you get 6 runs. You don't have to keep waiting like Dhoni until the last ball and then hit it out of the park. You don't have to do that. You can keep taking runs. And once in a while you get a bad ball, you hit it for 4. So so being very careful about what you do. So doing the doable is the first thing. And the second thing is, it's a probabilistic event. 90% of your ventures will fail. 50% of your second venture fails. About 40% of your third venture fails, right? A lot of people ask me, what is failure? We don't think failure when you're cycling, you fall, you get up, you cycle again. How many of us actually have cycled without falling down? So failure is the inherent part. Don't look at failure of the venture as failure of the entrepreneur. It's just a venture, it's a project. It's like cycle. Cycle, you fall down, you go tell your parents, I fell down. Nobody will do anything. Yeah, that's how we learn. So don't look at failure as, oh man, it's going to stick to me. Look at it as a learning because it's a probabilistic event. The more number of shots you take it, better you get at it. And it's also a mindset change. You learn how to talk to customers. You learn how to talk to your suppliers. Right? You know how to talk to your fellows. You know what? We are going to make it big, man. Yeah, we're going to make it big. Because I have no money. So I have to start entrepreneurs to come and say that this guy is telling me the curd in our office is not good. We don't have money to give him next month's salary. He doesn't know that. Because curd is bad. Next time we will do better job. So the way in which you need to understand, it's quite a hard journey. But how do you come up with good ideas? Now that it's interesting, now that it's good, the good place to start is the resources that you control. So what are the resources you control? Your intelligence, or personality, and your network. So look at who you are, look at what you know, look at whom you know. 3 W's. Come up with a list of ideas. I can do this, I can do that. List whole bunch of ideas. Then you go and see which part is interesting, which part you go talk to somebody else and say, do you want to join my company? I'll give you 2% of my $0 billion company. And to get resources from outside. So it's not a individual game, it's a team game. So how do you collaborate with people? How do you look for spare resources? You don't need to have money. You need to have spare resources. You guys know Virgin Atlantic?
Yes.
Yeah. Apparently he started airlines by calling up Boeing, do you have spare planes lying around? The answer is yes. That's how he started. And I see a lot of entrepreneurs do the same. I have a company called Slay Coffee. Slay Coffee started, how did he start? He looked up and said, I need coffee to be made. So what do? He called up some dairy farms here or there. Do you have spare capacity? So some dairy farms said, yeah, we are only working half the time. So he would go, use that dairy farm for 4 days, get enough product for 6 months and sell. So if you say that for you to set up a coffee place, you need to have a big dairy plant, look for spare resources. Look who can give you, here is something that you can do. Right? So start with who you are, start with what you know. Develop your network. The most important thing about entrepreneurship is risk. We are not a risk taker. I would like to, I don't have money. So, my father is not wealthy. So, how do you look for the resources for your venture? So, ask a lot of people. During COVID, we are just sitting, not knowing what to do. Then they said, play stock market. With Zerodha, it's even easier, no? Play stock market. Money is going, now money is going. Then money was going up. Now money is only going down, like evaporating, like nobody is like going down. So I asked my cousin, what should I do if I want to get into the stock market? He said, let's start with the money that you're willing to lose. I said, no, I want to make money. He said, no, start with the money that's okay. You're not going to, your lifestyle won't change. Put 50,000, put 1 lakh, put whatever money that you think is not going to change your lifestyle. Don't borrow money, put surplus resource. Similarly, you want to take a shot at entrepreneurship, commitment is an important thing. So put your affordable loss. How much am I willing to lose? 10,000 rupees, 50,000 rupees, 2 years of my life, right? So decide that commitment, saying that I'm going to commit for the next 2 years and see what happens. And then stick by it. 2 years later, decide whether you're going to get a job or go back and start or continue your venture. Right? So with these two things, you have enough to play around. Start with who you are, what you know, set an affordable loss, talk to people and get commitments. So it's very important to get your first venture out of the way. So do it as rapidly as possible. So don't look for big hits. I would suggest here's what you do. We do something called 250 rupee venture. So we tell our students, we have 250 rupees, not per person, for the whole group. And you now need to go start a venture. What do we do? I don't know. You go figure it out. And so some people said, okay, they started selling roses. This was pre-COVID. So this was on this Jan time frame. So just before Fed, we said, I go and sell roses before Valentine's Day. So he got hold of roses, got 250 rupees, that's all he has to do. So went outside Bannerghatta Road, tried selling people, they were not buying. Somebody is going to go to Lal Bagh. A lot of people, young couples will all be there, go to Lal Bagh.
Target customer.
The target customer is not on Bannerghatta Road, go to. So he went to Lal Bagh, started saying that you want to buy a rose for your girlfriend. He said, okay. He realized 80% of the people who were going and asking was buying. Then he had another brain wave. He said, white rose and red rose. Red rose is 80 rupees, white rose is 120 rupees. You have your girlfriend next to you, you don't want to be cheap. So, take that 250 rupees, do a venture in your place. Somebody tried selling palm. I am saying that, you know what, all these women can't go out. They also like eating palm. So 50% of the population is not getting to eat palm, we will sell palm. So they started selling palm. Something worked out, something didn't work out. Somebody else did pani puri. 250 rupees, I realized they were putting far too much potato. So after a little while, potato got over, but they still have tons of pani puris left. So what do? We said, you know what, I got an idea. What do? Go buy Maaza, Sprint, Sprite, put it and then give it to them. You know what, Prof? I said what? Alcohol is not allowed on campus. Otherwise, it would have been a super success. So when you have limited resources, you become very, very clever. So do that experiment. 250 rupees. He says that I'm going to start selling, and you realize that it will start to become more entrepreneurial. Yeah? It's a very easy shot, enough to do. I wish you all well.
We all are either in foundation program or in diploma program. What do you feel? Can you get a better job after foundation, or you have to wait till diploma? Degree. Okay, someone is saying degree, we have to wait for 3 years. Those subjects are very tough. All the subjects are very tough. Tough or not? Easy. Those are tough. I will give you my example. I have done a small program. Once I did a small program, I did an MBA of 1 year from Hyderabad. There is an institute known as National Institute of Agriculture Extension Management, run by Ministry of Agriculture, New Delhi. We have started a small program in agri warehousing and cool chain management. There was scope or there couldn't be any scope for this program. You will not believe, I joined that program and I have worked in world best 3 companies. First is NCDX, National Commodity and Derivative Exchange. Through warehousing I got that job. Second is Cargill. It's 180-year-old multinational company. Through that warehousing code. And my third company was BCG, Boston Consulting Group. Through that I was industry expert for Bharat Petroleum at Mumbai. So I did a 1-year program and my entire life changed, which I was not expecting. So a short-term program also has a lot of value. Now my third and most important question. Yesterday some 101 student has got diploma. 4 semesters they clear. Suppose there are two students, one with a CGPA of 6 and another with a CGPA of 9. Who should get a job? 6. Both. Yes. I appreciate that answer. I feel each and every person who has done something, some professional course should get a job. Getting a job should be his fundamental right in India. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Let's go through some of the slides. We see that we are an edtech company into agri-tech. So this is what we are doing. Next slide please. We are saying our sector is very specialized. We want to start with a limited customer base, and this is agriculture and allied. Agriculture is BSc or BTech in agriculture. Apart from that, allied include agriculture engineering, horticulture, food, dairy, forestry, fishery, veterinary, biotechnology and agribusiness management. So we want to cover these 12 programs running in India. We are very clear about the program. We want to start similar type of program made for this customer base. Next slide please. We'll go a bit fast. This is a small twist in what we are going to do. We don't have excellent infrastructure like IIT Madras. We don't have forest which was built 50 years back with deers and all those animals. But we are saying we have some customer base. We want to come up with an online course for 1 year, prepared by corporates, delivered by corporates, and placement in corporates. So our biggest strength is corporates. What are those corporates? We'll go through it. Next slide, please. Yes, few trends why we are there, why our company exists. First is, Honorable Prime Minister has recently called for mentorship. He has asked people staying in cities to visit rural area for 1 day in a month and help rural community. That's an excellent incentive. So we are saying that we want to do something in mentorship. India doesn't have a lot of mentorship model existing in India. So people want mentors and coaches. Students want mentors and coaches. So this is one trend. Second, Nirmala Sitharaman in a recent budget speech has said that there are agriculture universities in India, but the courses are very outdated. You go to any agriculture university, it's very tough. All the notes which we have studied 20 years back were prepared 40 years back. So it's very outdated. Agriculture education is very outdated in education. And third, we are saying that recently one company in the name of Rocket Skills, they came up with a similar model. They told that we will train entrepreneurs in agriculture, and they have raised 4 CR. In 2 months of time, they have raised 4 CR of money. And in next 6 months, the company get closed. All were institutional investors. They have sold the company to some third company. But this idea gives us a validation. People has trusted this idea. Agriculture technology. We can do it better. Whatever mistake they have done, we can do it better. But there are people, institutional investors who have invested into agriculture and education. Next slide, please. Okay, this is a small team. I am Yuvraj. I've given my experience. I have BSc Agriculture and Technology. I passed out in 2003 from Allahabad. Then 1 year program in warehousing and cool chain. I was vice president in a supply chain management company, Cargill BCG. I have a very young co-founder. He has currently completed his BTech in Electronics and Communication from IIT Guwahati. And I have 3 mentors. One mentor is Mr. Sanjay Kaul. He was my ex-boss. Second is Kushanku Day. He is a chairperson at IIM Lucknow. He was my colleague at Manage Hyderabad. And third is Rajnish Kumar. He is again a civil servant. So these are mentors. Mentors means you need people who can help you in your difficult time. Mentors mean you don't want an appointment to meet them. You can go anytime, you can take a help. It's not only financial, it can be in any form. Next slide, please. So we are saying that our initial focus is 1,000 colleges, 400 is ICAR colleges, and 600 are private universities spread across India. So some 25 lakh students are studying into UG and PG and PhD in various colleges. We want to focus on them. And as we say that 52% population depend on agriculture and 100% of us consume food. So it's a big sector which we are targeting. But we are saying that we want to change the entire agriculture and food through education. Next slide, please. This is the type of companies we want to serve, or this is a broad syllabus what we want to teach in fact. All of you are aware what is there in foundation semester 1 or diploma semester 2. So this is a broad syllabus which we want to cover. So we are saying that we have divided entire agriculture and food into 4 sectors. One is input, second is output, third is services, fourth is allied. Input is what a farmer wants. Farmer wants good seed, timely fertilizers, effective pesticide, farm machinery, irrigation, organic energy, and PU extension. All of us consume food. So these are some of the courses which we would be running. And then there are services like agri warehousing, agile, market, cold chain, transportation, agri IT or data science is here, agri advisory, agri insurance, agri banking. So this is a big sector in fact. So we want to come up with a specialized 1-year certificate program or a foundation program into agriculture. Next slide, please. Value proposition, we are saying 100% job guarantee. If you go to any IITs and IIMs, one thing is guaranteed. What? Placements are guaranteed. Go to any IIT. It's this IIT Madras is NIRF rank 1. You go to any, whether it is 100 or if you have a good institute, the placements are guaranteed. So in our course, we are saying placement is our strength and that is our strong value proposition for it. So there are few competition we are having. We want to enter into different sectors. Next slide, please. Business solution, going to start with mentorship, exam preparation, internship and jobs. Here we are want to say that we want to run a 1-year program like IIT Madras. One of the motivation for me to join this program was to see how IIT Madras is designing this program. Do you know how much time it took to start this program?
2 years.
2 years, 3 years. Yes, you all are right. It took 2 years to design this program and then it got started. For me also, I am thinking for how many years?
5 years.
Yes. 3-4 years I am thinking. I am running some other business also, but I am thinking there is an opportunity. Let's start it. And I am trying at my own level. So we are saying that we want to run a 1-year course for agriculture students. Next slide. I will complete this in the next 2 minutes. I will not make it much boring in fact, and we can have some Q&A. As you understand the business model, we want to do what IIT Madras is doing for data science. Yes, this is a business model canvas with customers and problem and unfair advantage. We want to work in a niche sector. We have identified a customer base, where the money is, where we want to focus initially for next 1 year or 2 years. Then we can diversify into other subjects and other courses. Next slide, please. Yes, we are saying that in last 5 years, I am a startup founder for last 8 years. I have 4 failed startups. This is my fifth startup in fact. But in these 4-5 years, I have built a relationship with more than 500 corporate customers for providing jobs. So we are doing good in that, and that gives us a confidence. These corporates are saying, make us a course, we want student as per us. We don't want student as per college or their requirement. We will give you a requirement, we will design the course, we will deliver the course, we will place them, we will give the internship. Everything they are going to do it. So we are the facilitator, and because of this, we are moving ahead. Next slide, please. Okay, so we have done a small pilot. This is Indira Gandhi Krishi Vishwavidyalaya at Raipur. Some 2,000 people were there, and entire career counseling went for the entire two-day event it was. And some 2,000 people from various parts of Chhattisgarh were present there. Next slide, please. Similarly, we conducted a small program of 2 day at Central Agriculture University at Imphal. So to test this idea, I visited entire country, starting from Jammu, next slide please, from Jammu to Kerala to Tamil Nadu, each and every state. We have analyzed, we have planned, and we have met 50,000 students of agriculture. 90% of the private universities, if you see this Uttaranchal University in Dehradun, it's more fun place than IIT Madras. If you go there, the owner is a politician. He has purchased the entire river of Uttarakhand and he has made a college near that river. But placements, no place. Agriculture was happening, so they started agriculture. Whatever is happening, they started. So the condition of students are very good. I am a firm believer, students should get a quality education, they should get an internship, they should get a placement. What he will do?
Startup, he will become a startup.
He will be the boss of? He will be the boss of? A. Yes or no? That was a Harvard study done, and it is an exhaustive 20-page report. So my only thing is, yes, study is okay, but placements and quality education is very important. And in India, the condition of education is worse. I'm not saying that scope is there only in agriculture. I'm saying scope is there in journalism. I met some of the friends few days back. He told me all the journalists have burned their books. What they learned in their journalism. What does it mean?
Everything is getting outdated.
No.
No jobs.
No one is doing actual journalism. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Some say fake journalism, some say OT media, some say unethical. Journalism has gone at its lowest bottom in fact. So there is need for a transitional improvement in all the courses. Next slide please. This is the work plan and this is the last slide in fact. What is our vision, what we want to do? We want to start with a career counseling and mentorship immediately. Next month, most probably we are launching this. And in next 4 to 6 months, we are coming up with a magazine, alumni association, socializing, agri-event. And next 1 year, our plan is, yes, 10 seconds. We want to have different various B schools. Like we want to have an apple B school, tomato B school, maize B school, oilseed B school. And in the next 3 years, we want to be a digital company, a university. We want to run a university from a laptop. That is our ultimate vision. And thank you very much. If you have any questions, in fact, some of my friends are asking a lot of questions. In fact, in last 2-3 days, in fact, I have interacted with a lot of them, and madam is there from a professor in Pune University. So it's my request, don't ask a lot of questions. If you are doing this program and my business model is very similar, I have copied that. See, cut, copy, paste, sometimes it's always not bad, cut, copy, paste. The model is very simple. What I have seen in my last 20 years of corporate career, people copy it and they market it well. They do it well. If you see all the number 1 companies, lot of second, third, fourth grade companies have copied them and they are much bigger today. So my only motto is to help the student community and to disrupt the entire agriculture education in the country. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yuvraj. Thank you so much. Now I'd like to call Brahmasur on the stage from Cipri module.
Hi, my name is Brahmasur. I'm from Kerala. 2018, we faced a unfortunate event in Kerala. We have floods. That time I came to know about the problems with water, and there we have a solution. We don't have a solution for that unfortunate event. Even Indian Navy was not able to provide clean water for 3 days. So even the government was not prepared for this kind of event. So Optimus is a world's first smart water tank, which can purify water and harvest water, and it's having IoT connectivity. It will be communicating with your mobile phone, and it will give you information regarding the quality and quantity of water. The best part of Optimus is actually creating. It's actually water is going to be a big problem for India, as our population is 1.4 billion. Our water quality index is 120 among 122 nations. So we have big issues with water, quality of water, what we are using. So any one of you having idea about quality of water you are using right now? Anyone having idea? How do you know about that?
Yeah, when I went to buy a water purifier, I heard that you should look for the TDS level that's there in your area, and accordingly decide whether you want a RO or RO plus. The TDS level I heard.
Okay. So Optimus will be providing all those information, and most of the time we are not into these. This is the system currently in place. We have different products for handling different purposes. So this is the evolution of water tanks. Nothing special happened. It's just store water. That's it. So if we have a proper smart water tank, we can treat water. We can use any source of water, and we will be able to have access to the data. How we are using water for different purposes. And this IoT part will be providing the information regarding how it will be clean any wastage is happening. All that information will be shared with you. So these are the competitions right now. So this product will be creating a unique data set that is not right now accessible for any organization, even the government. That is like the end user data for water. So right now we are facing a big issue, global warming, that is actually increasing to sea level. That will create problems for entire water treatment industry. Right now we are having access to. So once the amount of minerals and salt content increases, whatever currently observed system for what you can say, municipal treatment water system, that system will fail. So we need RO systems or membrane distillation systems for handling clean water resources. So we are proposing a shared responsibility model, which with the Optimus you will be able to solve all these kind of issues, and we will be able to deliver proper data for improving the functionality of improving the quality of water you use, and it will help us to achieve Sustainable Development Goals number 6 by 2030. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you so much. Now the date is all going to the entrepreneurship cell of IIT Madras. Welcome on board, guys.
Bodies of IIT Madras, entrepreneurship in campus and outside the campus. We have a lot of events during the year now.
So in ESET, we promote, nurture and support entrepreneurship
by increasing awareness and having lot of events throughout the year and getting these summer is our flagship event of the year.
So now we are creating a WhatsApp group for all EFC online people. So you can all join this group that all the entrepreneurship and engineers who want to join. And we also have an emerge committee so that there are a lot of experts all over the India. There are total 2,000 people in this emerge committee. So all the experts, all the startup people are there. So if you have any doubt, like if you have any idea, startup idea, you can discuss with all these people.
Sasken from Event B. What to eat, what to cook. He's trying to solve that along with nutrition. Interesting is his name also, horse mouth. That was the first thing we all liked. As the name suggests, feel you. Asif, thank you so much.